I've had a few requests from a few viewers, Peter C. and Levi, and a few others, who have asked me about this brand, Vaer, and they've been doing a lot of advertising on YouTube, and they've been making some very good-looking watches that are hand-assembled in the United States, and a lot of people have been asking about them because they look really good, and they want to know if they are any good. So, ironically, Vaer actually reached out to me just recently and asked me if I would like to review two of their watches. One was their D5 diver, so this is the Pacific USA diver, and they also asked me if I wanted to try out their quartz version of their field watch, and it's a US quartz, so it has an AmeriQuartz in it, so I'm going to be doing a review and unboxing of that as well. They sent me both of the watches. I don't need to return them, so please keep that in mind. They come in very big boxes, so they both come in the exact same style box. Now, this is the watch that I chose. It came on a rubber strap. You also get this included for an extra $50. It is the stainless steel bracelet. And everything comes sort of packaged like an Apple Watch. You know, you get a little bit of cool packaging here. So you get tiny boxes for each one of these little packages here. So you get a little box for the watch, you get a little box for the bracelet, and then also just a little information on how to actually use the quick release. They also sent over another strap. That is the US made Horween leather strap. So we'll look at that in the full review, but this I'm just going to show it to you guys on the strap. I'll show it to you on the bracelet. And we'll talk about some of the specs and, of course, my first impression. So packaging is very nice. The outer box is very nice. Two little inner boxes, as I mentioned. And, of course, you have the bracelet here, and then warranty information, operation manual right here. I believe that a little bit more actually comes with the watch paperwork-wise. However, I don't get that because, obviously, I am a reviewer, so this is what they've sent me. So, very quickly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I will show it to you on my wrist with this strap. This is their Tropic rubber strap. This has the old radium sort of looking lume on it, so we'll do close-ups of that so you can see, and then we will throw it on the bracelet, and then we will do a lume shot because this gets 15 layers of X1 Superluminova. It is old radium, but there are 15 layers of it, and I believe it's on the bezel, the hands, and the indices. So very quickly, let me zoom in, and then we'll take a look at the watch. So here is the watch. You can see a lot of inspiration from the vintage Omega Seamaster 300. You can see that inspiration in the case, in the dial, and the case profile. You have these turned lugs, primarily a brushed case, and then you have a little bit of polishing on the underside of the bezel. The bezel is actually very grippy though because the outside of the bezel is actually brushed and it has some really nice teeth on it. It's very, very grippy. Let's listen to the bezel action really quickly. 120 click bezel. Feels really good. Tight and feels sort of similar to a Seiko bezel, I would say, from my SBDC 061. A little bit louder of clicks. You have a domed sapphire crystal, very heavily domed in fact. This is a 39 millimeter watch, so if you measure at the case itself, it's 39 millimeters. If you measure at the bezel, it is 40 millimeters, and the thickness on this watch is 13.7 millimeters thick. You get a 48 millimeter lug width. Now that 13.7 millimeters thick is a little bit deceptive. That is because you have a very heavily domed sapphire crystal. As I mentioned, you have AR coating on there, and it is very heavily domed. So therefore, it's almost 11 millimeters if you measure it at the bezel. It doesn't wear like a 13 millimeter thick or 13.5 millimeter thick watch, and we'll throw it on my wrist so you guys can see. This is on the Tropic rubber strap. This is the one that it comes on at the price I think is $499 if you get it on the Tropic rubber strap. If you want the bracelet, I think it's $50 more when you're ordering a watch, or $79 if you're not. So definitely get it if you are ordering a watch. Definitely get the bracelet in addition. And then, of course, you have a Miyota 9039 in the back. So there is Date versions, I believe those get the Miyota 9015. This is the Miyota 9039 because this is a dateless version. As you can see, these maxi indices not interrupted by a date. I really like that. However, they make a couple of cool different dials with some red date wheels for the Miyota 9030, for the Miyota 9015, excuse me, which I think looks really cool. This is a maxi dial. It has X1 old radium superluminova 15 layers on that bezel, which is ceramic, on the dial and on the hand. So lots of lume, and we'll do a lume shot towards the end. I mentioned there is AR coating on the dome sapphire crystal. You can see there's a lot of reflection going on in my studio lights. That's because it is very heavily domed, so it is hard to really get that reflection not to happen, and you can see it does. But I do like the look of the watch. I like the way it looks in person. It does catch a lot of light in the camera, but it's not that heavy in person. And of course, since the ceramic bezel is polished, you also get a lot of reflection. That reflection you do see in person, I will have to say. And then of course you get a screwed-in crown, screwed-in case back. What's really nice is that you do get to see the movement, the 9039. It is a signed rotor, and you do get to see it even though you still get 200 meters of water resistance. So a lot of brands, you have 200 meters water resistance. They don't put a screwed-in case back that is see-through. So it's a little bit more difficult, a little bit thicker to do that. So that definitely adds to everything. But you can see it's not an incredibly thick watch. Signed buckle, stainless steel, milled, very, very nice. And of course, on the dial, the script down here just giving you that it's automatic, and the depth rating, sort of like a classic script, something that you would see on a vintage Omega Seamaster. And then just right there at the 6 o'clock, it says American Assembly, which obviously this is hand assembled here in the United States. Obviously using parts that are sourced from China and Japan. However, it is hand assembled here in the United States, which definitely adds to the cost. And we've discussed this on many videos where some watches that are assembled in the United States, they cost a little bit extra because they are hand assembled in the United States. And it does cost more money to do that here. It's cheaper in China and other areas because of labor costs, really. That's basically it. Big sign crown, very grippy as well. Very grippy bezel, as I mentioned. So let me throw it on my wrist very quickly so you guys can see on my 7.5 inch wrist. 39 millimeters, 40 millimeters at that bezel. And then we'll do a quick strap change. We'll throw the bracelet on and we'll talk about that for a moment. And then we will do a quick lume shot. Really first impressions. I'm going to be wearing this watch and I will be doing a full review. But quickly, before I do, today I am wearing Dunn watches. This is sort of a micro independent brand. I think I'm going to coin that phrase myself because I've asked this question many times. What's the difference between a micro brand and a major brand and an independent brand? I think these guys are sort of a micro independent brand. Very, very cool watch. SW400. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. Not many watches, not many brands use that. I'll go into what that is during my unboxing of this, which will be coming pretty soon. Very, very cool watch. So here is the D5 Pacific on my wrist. This is the US Diver, 39 millimeters, 40 millimeters at that bezel, as I mentioned, 48 millimeters lug to lug. And as I said, does not wear thick. You can see it doesn't sit up on my wrist. It actually nuzzles down really nicely, to my wrist. And it has a 13.7 millimeter thickness, but a majority of that, not a majority, but the reason why it's a little bit thick is because of that sapphire crystal. When you measure from the top of that sapphire crystal to the back, it is a little bit thicker. When you measure from the bezel edge to the back of the watch, including the sapphire crystal on the back, it's around 11 millimeters thick, which is completely reasonable. Very, very nice. This watch feels and looks really good, and I actually really like it. It kind of makes me think of NTH a little bit, but this is actually made in the United States, and a very similar quality, on par with NTH, maybe with Notice, a couple of other brands. I really like the quality. I think the fit and finish are pretty good. Very quickly, let me throw it on the bracelet and we'll check that out, and then we will do a lume shot and wrap up the video. So here it is on the supplied bracelet. And you can see it has quick release, which is a good or a bad thing depending on if you like that. I like quick release because I don't have to fiddle around with spring bars. So the rubber strap was also quick release, which is pretty easy. Like I said, it came with a Hornween leather strap, which I think is like $80 extra. It's made in the USA. However, I'm going to throw that on for the full review. I'll show you everything in the full review. Immediately, though, for this bracelet, you could see that the actual lug-to-lug does increase considerably because you do have male end links on here. So that is something to definitely consider if you are buying this. Let's do a quick measurement on that. And it comes out to 52 and change, somewhere around there. So it is larger because of that, the lug-to-lug. And I'll throw it on my 7.5-inch wrist so you guys can see. The bracelet does have push pins. But it's a $50 upgrade, so it's really not all that bad. For me, the actual extra male end links don't really make a difference on my wrist. You can see it wears very, very nicely. The bracelet is completely brushed. The buckle is your generic, everyday, sort of micro brand buckle that you would get. I was hoping for something a little bit more special from Vaer because I just felt like they would maybe do something a little bit different, but it's not terrible. It's very functional. It's just your everyday sort of buckle with 4 positions of micro adjust, which is good, and it's signed Vaer. Not the nicest buckle, but not terrible at all. It's pretty keeping in line with most micro brands, milled, and feels pretty good. The bracelet itself feels really nice. It is thin. And like I said, you do have push pins, so they went with the very thin route. So it is a pretty thin bracelet, and you do get push pins. Again, kind of reminds me of NTH. And I actually like the styling on this much better than an NTH, in my opinion. But again, that is my opinion. I've handled both of those watches. I've handled a few NTHs, and in my opinion, I think this is a better looking watch and very similar quality, though. So. I believe NTH is around the same price, and I believe they get the same movement, except you cannot see the movement from the back, and they're not assembled in the United States. So these are actually cheaper. I think this is $549. You can get a discount on these because they have that, that roulette wheel that you could choose. You sometimes get 10% off or something like that. So $549 on this bracelet, and then it's a little bit more expensive if you want the Horween. The Horween is really nice. Like I said, we'll show you that in the full review. Very quickly, let's do a Lume shot, then wrap up this video. But like I said, this is just an unboxing, first impressions. Once I've been wearing the watch for a little while, I'll give you a full review of this watch and, of course, all of the accessories that came with it, the rubber strap, the bracelet, and the Horween strap. But I can tell you the Horween strap is pretty awesome. American-made Horween's really nice. So very quickly, Lume shot, then we'll wrap up the video. Well. The Lume is awesome on this watch. Look at this. Really fantastic. 15 layers. It's the amount of Lume that you apply, and it's 15 layers of X1 old radium, which usually old radium, not the brightest. So if you get one of their other versions, there is the same version that is sort of a modern take, so it doesn't have this old radium. I like the look of old radium, so not a problem for me, but this would probably be even brighter, and I think this is a torch. This is really, really good. This would definitely hold its own in my Lume tests, my Lume battles that I do, for sure. And you have that triangle there for orientation, triangle at the 12 o'clock. I really love it. Maxi indices, because these are big indices, and you can see that they actually line up with the bezel, so you get sort of a crosshair on here, kind of. Looks really good. Very, very bright. Just a really nice everyday dive watch. You could wear this as a dress diver too. A really nice size. It's just a really nice watch. I really do like it. But like I said, I'll be wearing it over the next few weeks. And of course, I will tell you guys what I think ultimately of these watches. But so far, first impressions are very good. But please tell me what you think in the comments below. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It's super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog. I have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. However, I very much appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.